So like there's all of these things that come into play when trying to like date people, that I just don't know if there's rules that would say you don't have time for a relationship versus you do. Your relationship, Michelle, would be the type of relationship that a military person would thrive in. Why?
And my
Because
husband was military,
thank
and we
you.
already
Military
made that.
people,
I
like,
was
they get
married for
along so
25
well.
years, so
Yes, but
yes.
how did I know that?
Let me say this to Michelle, because I'm glad you introduced that, right? When I heard what you said, it's respectable, but I'm gonna tell you from a frame of reference that a man that got options, you would fall to the bottom of the list, because there's so many women that if I heard a woman that had she in rotation, because if you're meeting a man that got options, you're not the only one, right? So
And
if
that's
she told me
fine.
exactly, no, I know that's I'm not. It's not you. It's women that may think like you. That right there would tell me that you're not that serious, or that you don't like me that much, or whatever it may be, because everybody got the same freaking 24 hours in a day. And I'm pretty sure your life is not more important than mine. So if you're telling me that you got your crap planned to the T, that you can't spare an hour and a half because I'm intentional about you, that's going to be problematic. You're not ready for a relationship. Your life's not set up for a relationship. That's what I would hear.
Yeah,
Well,
and I can I just say something
and
real quick.
again,
So, can I just say something real quick? So, I'm like I have like 5 jobs. Okay, I'm constantly in the mix of stuff. I'm a hustler, so it's very difficult for me to have multiple dates in one week based off of my schedule. One week I might be free because I make my own schedule. One week I may be free 3 days, right? But I have other priorities as well. So I think there's a difference of whether it's you have multiple things going on and you have to plan, as opposed to you wanting to move your schedule around and wanting to try to maneuver. And if it works this week, and I can see you next week, and it might be multiple times. I think we do what we want to do, and if we like somebody, we meet somebody, and the vibe is right, and it's like, I can't wait to see them. Then we gonna make sure it happens.
because here's the thing, and like I say, and I can only speak for myself, but the reason that I say that is, first and foremost, like I said, I'm a mother, so my daughter has cheer practice at 6 a.m. 3 times a week, and then now that we only have to be up at 5 a.m. to make sure we make it a practice by 6 a.m. But then I had to go to work, then I had to get her home, and then sometimes she got 2 games that she needs to cheer for, football and basketball. So and there sometimes they play back to back in the same week, 3 games. So it's like I need to be there for my daughter. So trust and believe that when I get home, I don't want to see my phone. I don't want to see anything, because I'm being overing this kid back and forth and helping with hair and makeup and
And what if
carrying
that man
bags.
So then
said?
you
What if
don't
that
have time
man
to
said,
be in
you
a
know what?
relationship. You don't
That's
have
not
time for
true.
it.
I do, because I was,
How?
and
Can I
How do
can
you
I
have
ask a
time for a
I
question?
man if you
said
just said you don't have time?
I
That's
said the intentional time, if with the person that I'm talking to, I will let them know what my lifestyle is. If they agree, then that's when we align, because that's what you date people, to make sure that they are in alignment. So if he
So, Michelle,
understands
what if that
that,
man said, you know what? I know your daughter has practice. You know what? I want to see you so bad. Can I come
he
share
can
with
come
you
to
on
the
the game?
game. He can come to the game with me, of course. And then we can grab pizza. That's fine. But it's like, I'm
Okay.
not going to stop my life and show availability for a man because I already planned my week. Now, for me to make time for him,
Are
I
you a
can let him
Virgo?
know. Huh?
Are you a Virgo? No.
No, I'm a Capricorn.
No, I'm
Okay, so
playing.
well,
let me real quick chime in, because I understand like the whole dynamic of everyone has a different situation. And that's why some relationships quite literally take 10 years for them to decide to be married. Some relationships, they get married in 6 months. Some relationships, they get married in 2 years. That's just kind of how these different dynamics go. And this is why I'm saying that this whole setting out rules thing is just really irritating, because the same shit just don't work for everybody, right? But when it comes to like, for example, your situation, Michelle, a person who wants to have a close connection to a partner and wants to get to know them and wants to know all the things, they would not vibe with you. You'd probably vibe with a man who's a little bit more autonomous, right? Versus some people would vibe with a man who's a little bit more interdependent. Like these are all just you finding the people who you vibe with personally, right? And if you want to have these deep conversations, these deep dialogues, then you'd want to be with somebody who's able to be on the phone. Some people hate the phone, they want to be in person. So like there's all of these things that come into play when trying to like date people, that I just don't know if there's rules that would say you don't have time for a relationship versus you do. Your relationship, Michelle, would be the type of relationship that a military person would thrive in. Why?
And my
Because
husband was military,
thank
and
you.
we already
Military
made that.
people,
I
like
was
they
married for
go out to
25
the
years, so
that's what
yes.
how did I know
That's
that?
not true.
Why?
I'm
Because
20
the whole
years
oh my
retired. That's
gosh,
not true.
hold on. Look, okay. All right. What I'm not saying it's 100% true, but what I'm saying is there's a certain type of woman who can be a military wife. Some women could not because some
And I
women are
was. I
like,
was
oh
one for the
no,
longest time. So
every single night I better see you every day, right? And there's some women who's like, you know what? I'm cool with a cool 6 months without seeing you. We can talk on the phone. We can send letters. We can whatever. People are different. I don't know how much I feel like this stuff is like needs to be one rule.
Mhm. And I
yeah,
was
like
gonna say,
to me, a man that is too
No.
codependent of me, it will suffocate me because I want to have my autonomy and he can have his. We can get together and just interact and do something. But and again, it goes back to alignment. That's why you talk to people, you see if they're in alignment with you, and then if not, it's not. Then it's fine, and it's no harm, no foul.
and I think dating is like I think it's a dance, right? And I think men lead the dance, right? And I think like I don't think it's weird for a woman to be like, "Oh, you're doing too much too fast." Like, "Oh, 2 days in a week, that's a lot." Like get in where you fit in. You're going on a date. Next time you get hungry, be like, "Oh, what you doing right now? You hungry? Let's get some lunch real quick." Like just stuff like that. They don't gotta be like, "Oh, let's go on a date again tomorrow," and stuff like that. It's a dance, like, and you gotta know how to lead it. The same way, like y'all doing the nasty, you don't want to just jump right in there and just be like, no, it's a dance. Like, take your time and just make it make sense.
I,
That's all I'm saying.
I
So,
think that's fair.
Michelle, I can understand because between the field problems, staff duty, deployments, all that, I can see where you're, I want to say independence, right? But where you were forced into that role of you was doing everything. I don't know how long you're married or still married, but like I said, spending 20
No,
years
he
of the army.
passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
But
fine.
like knowing that, you know what I mean? Like you had to deal with a lot, and you've been doing it on your own for probably for so long that that's kind of what you used to.
And
Well,
I
I
have
think I'm
prioritized being a mother than date and do all the stuff. I just recently got back into the game because my daughter is old enough that right now I don't need to be as nurturer as she needed to be, because when my husband passed away, then I needed to step in and be a mother and father for my child. And it needed so much from me that I didn't have anything to give anybody else. I needed to nurture myself and my child. I needed to heal. I need to make sure that everything was in alignment before I decide to take that step. And I realized that, if dating is not a priority for me, because I still had to a lot of commitment with my daughter and prepare her for college. So when she goes to college, then I can do whatever the heck I want to do.
Michelle, at what point do you see being interdependent in a relationship as valuable?
It is valuable to me when, like, if the person have the right amount of commitment to build something with me, he will definitely would be in alignment, and will interact with each other and be part of each other, and I will treat him like my king, like he will be all to me.
But you just said that you want to have your autonomy,
Yeah,
and
in
then
the sense of that he wants to go fishing and a fishing trip for a weekend, he can go. Like, I'm not gonna be stressing about it. I don't need to have that man's phone. I don't need to check anything. Like, it will be enough trust for him to do whatever he needs to do and feel that he has his own time for his guys and stuff like that, because men needs that time. He don't need to be attached to my hip. What for?
okay.
yeah.
Well,
I
I was gonna
in
say,
res-
oh, I'm sorry, True.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, the other thing is too, like, I've been like, I would say, approached by a man who wants to see me every day, as soon as I would get off of work or whatever, and it's like they have nothing going on for themselves. That's not a man I would want to see, right? So just because like somebody does want to see you, doesn't mean it's all the time. Doesn't mean, for me, I would look at like, okay, well, what do you have going on in your life? Because like, if you're really like, I don't want to say the words ambitious, right? If you're really a go getter, or you're working on some things and you're building, like, you have that much time on your hands to be able to see me that much all the time. Or you just, you know.
I love what you did, Jay, and that's fair. Everybody got the same 24 hours. Like, I get it. That and you can tell, not you, but just in a sense, there's so much trauma. If a man is requesting your time, in my opinion, and we're talking about someone of value, I think that's heavy weighted. That should be taken into consideration. Just like you believe your life's important as it is, I don't get it. I'm not on y'all side. So sometimes I like hearing women express themselves and explain, because to y'all, you make sense. Like hearing from what Michelle said to even what you said, I would filter it different. We all got the same 24 hours. And if you're really interacting with somebody, I'm not saying a bum, Jay, but a guy who made, like Willie set the foundation of, yo, he's already got it figured out. Like, money's no option. He's got autonomy, flexibility. So if he's willing to be like, hey, let's you know,
That's right. We in there. Take one of these jobs from me. You know what I mean? Let me just
Yeah.
have one.
jobs is wild. You
True.
gotta get the work.
True.
Man.
He still gotta do the dance, right? Like, it's just like you still gotta do it. You know, he's not just, because it, like, you gonna double text a girl the first day you get her number?
Nah,
No,
no,
right?
not at all.
What?
I know
Okay.
the dance. So
Why is that double text? Why is that?
What
even
is
a thing?
double
Like, who
text?
cares?
I mean, I
Yeah,
text
reach out
you.
to me and tell me.
No, I mean, I text you. You haven't replied yet. Do you
yeah, I'm
like,
not doing that.
I'm not texting you again. Wait till you
Oh,
get me
okay.
back.
I ain't doing
Come
that
on.
either.
What time?
I'm not doing that either.
But like,
What you
okay,
say?
why does that have to? If I'm okay, so if I'm dating, True, right, and or I'm sorry, not dating. If we're getting to know each other, and I'm thinking about you, maybe you had a date, and I'm like, oh, it was such a great day. I'm thinking about you, and I send you a message, and an hour goes by, and you don't respond, and just thinking about you. So what if I double text or
It's
somebody
different.
double text?
Nobody does that.
Or
Nobody.
you, a guy. I'm saying, even if it was a guy, I don't care if somebody's double
Nah.
texting me. It's if somebody's saying like, "Hello?" question mark. That's a little
Yeah.
different.
See,
Like if I'm
and
That's
I'm
an
glad
anxious attachment.
you can't. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, and that's why I like that we're having these conversations. The rules are a little different. Like Mon is talking about the dance. You may be cool with it, but see, there's no way of telling which woman is cool with it. And that's where the whole getting to know her on a personal level and figuring out her tolerance, because double texting for you is perfect. Lakeisha may be like, nah, this dude's a little sketch. I'm gonna back off. You know,
gotta
it just
remember that.
Well, what about like communicating with them and asking? You can just.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Pretty?